Hey guys, how are you? Welcome! I need to shave. Maybe I should make myself look a little more presentable before I do these streams. Like maybe shave my face every now and again. How's everyone doing on this Friday night? Alright, well, I'm doing fine, for the record. I figured I'd pop in, would do a Friday night stream here. Here, I can rearrange this real quick. So I can see you guys if you try to chat with me. Here, alright. So now if you chat with me, I can see you. Put this up over here too. You guys can't really see what I'm doing. This is on the other screen. Just want to make sure. Alright. There. There we are. Alright. So what are we doing today? Well, every month, my patrons get to choose a sketch for me to draw. Or I guess more accurately what they do is they put a character into a hat, a metaphoric hat. Everyone throws in a character who they would want me to draw. I assign each of those names a number, and I literally roll a dice, and whatever number that comes up is the character I draw that month. So this month, the winner is Spike from Cowboy Bebop. So today is what, the 23rd-ish? Yeah, today's the 23rd. So that gives me 7 days to get this sketch done. So hopefully I can get most of it done today. And then my patrons will be happy. And if you guys like what you see, you can always join my Patreon at the silver tier. And you can get this sketch when I'm all done with it. And you'll be able to suggest a sketch for next month. So again, I'm doing Spike here from Cowboy Bebop. Now, Spike is super cool. Cool, collected. Doesn't seem like anything gets to him. I gotta start my music. There we go. Alright. So I want to give him this kind of really kind of... I don't even know how... Like, cool guy... cool guy look. Kind of him with the microphone. What am I talking about? Cigarette. That's the same thing, right? It's probably what 4Kids would do. 4Kids would give him a microphone instead of a... cigarette. So again, I want to give him this kind of relaxed look. Whoops, that he's kind of leaning on a chair arm or chair, like the back of a chair. So we're starting real loose here. Kind of want to give him So like the chair is kind of leaning on this way. Kind of want like twisting back. And kind of a cigarette kind of sitting right here. Let's see where things are going. Need to lower his head a little bit. Might even need to make it bigger, but we'll see. So how are we all doing today? It's Friday, so that's obviously good. Hey, Sideways is here. I'm having trouble figuring out if this shoulder needs to be going up or down. And I think up gives him at least a little bit of a... Oh, what am I working on? So I'm working on the sketch commission for patrons today. I'm working on the... So basically, I rolled the dice earlier today, and the character that popped up is Spike from Cowboy Bebop. So I'm kind of doing this on the fly a little bit. I have a couple references I'm kind of working off of, trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing here, because I don't exactly know. Like, I'm not exactly... Because he's twisting back, so that means his body needs to be leaning backwards a little bit here. I might be making his arm too big. So yeah, I'm just starting with just a real loose sketch here. I don't want to get too into things and then realize I have to change everything. Don't make his hand too big either. think right now it doesn't look like anyone. I think I'll, you guys will enjoy if Spike's a little more recognizable here. He has kind of a long, skinny-ish head here. All these little details are going to be tough. It's always tough drawing a character you've never drawn before, especially when I'm doing this live on the fly, because I gotta try to find all the nuance of the character and try to capture it on the fly. Well, usually that's something that like takes me quite a few passes to try and capture. But I don't want to look completely incompetent to you guys, so I kind of try to do it right the first time. Going to do his hair. Does this... Man, his hair is really messing with me. I'm going to pull up a picture real quick. Just so you guys can see. Alright. What do you guys think? Am I in the ballpark here? What do I need to do different? Maybe a little bit more volume at the top. Sense. Make a small change here. Yeah, the top does look flat. I agree they're sideways. Let me move this back over so I can get back to drawing. I am in the ballpark, I agree. As always, I forgot to post to Instagram that I'm streaming, so I'm going to do that right now. Close enough. Oh, we got a lurk from Zombie Possum. How you doing, man? Spike has kind of Deku hair. If you guys know My Hero Academia, Spike's hair isn't too different. You never noticed that? Yeah. He has green hair like Deku. It's usually colored pretty dark on the underside like Deku. It's kind of wild and kind of curly. Ugh. It's actually come out pretty good. I've never drawn Spike before, and I think this is actually coming out better than I thought it was gonna. I guess before I get too far into it, what do you guys think? Pull this over here again. Does that look like him? Am I getting his resemblance? Alright, good facial expression. Good. I think I'm going to move his head up a little bit. I think it's... Nope, don't want to do that. Sorry, I keep switching between all these references. I have a Spike. I have them like a bunch of like straight-on references, just so I can kind of see what the details of his costume looks like. But then I have like these side views since I'm drawing them at an angle. So I want to make sure I get the details right here. See this real quick. All right. This is coming along nicely, I have to say. think I need to broaden his shoulders up a little bit here. Spike looks like he has a jacket that doesn't quite fit him properly. I don't know if that's intentional or that's just like the anime style. Curious, are any of you guys watching? Any of you fans of the band Killswitch Engage? Oh yeah, guess they just released a new music video. It's a new song where the band has had two lead singers. A lot of fans of the band kind of break up eras of the band depending on the lead singer who's fronting the band, and their latest music video had both of them singing on the song, and it was awesome. I was wondering if anyone else saw that video because it was fantastic. Yeah, that's actually a very interesting way to put it, Sideways. The only difference is there was never any kind of, at least as far as I know, I don't know these people personally. As far as I know, there wasn't any animosity between the two of them. The first lead singer had to step down because I forget exactly why. His vocal cords might have been shot. I can't remember. Obviously, it couldn't have been that shot since he came back. But whatever, for whatever reason, he has stepped down, and so they got a new lead singer, and then he was it for a few albums, and then the first guy came back, and he's the current lead singer again. But the latest song, they're both there. So I don't know. Shows how good of a fan I am. I don't know if they're on, both of them are on the new album, or if this was just kind of a fun thing just to have both of them on one song. But as far as I know, again, there was never any animosity between anyone. I think they're just kind of like, yeah, that's first. I was the lead singer, now you're the lead singer, now I'm the lead singer, and it's all good. Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. Put me on mute so you can still watch, and then go over to YouTube and type in that new song is called "A Single Fire." I think. Here, I'll do the work. Here we go. We'll do this. So let's see. We'll go over here. YouTube. Switch engage. Single fire. Easy. Share. Come on back to Twitch. Yeah, this is that new song. No problem. It's fair warning. It is very heavy metal. Lots of screaming. So that's not your jam. Don't click on the link. get this hand drawn. This is actually coming out way better than I thought it was gonna. Unless I'm way off. You guys tell me if I'm way off. If this is looking like garbage, you tell me. So where are your guys' plans for this Friday night? You guys just gonna watch me? How about this hand? We'll see. Keep chipping away at it. So I gotta have this like real relaxed feel to it because he's so supposed to be super cool. So he's just chilling. He's just chilling with his cigarette. Being all cool and stuff. Yeah, the guy with the beard and the mohawk, that's the original singer and current singer. They kind of flip-flopped. So he was the singer, and the second guy that came in for the second verse, came in for the chorus and then sang the second verse. He was the new singer for a while. I think he did 2, maybe 3 albums with them, and then he stepped down, and then the original guy came back. And that's the first and current singer. I think I'm still gonna have it there, but let me get the rest of the fingers in first. You need to go punch something after listening. Well, I tell you, if you're gonna look up their albums, my personal two favorites is Alive or Still Breathing. That has that first singer. And then An End of Heartache is my second recommendation, and that features the second singer. Those two are my two favorite Killswitch Engage, although I really like Killswitch Engage, so you can't go really wrong with any of them, in my opinion. But if you have to start somewhere, Alive or Still Breathing or End of Heartache. Those two are my two favorites. This hand is giving me more trouble than I want to admit. All right. And like I said, I like just about all their albums. Of course, I like some more than others, but you know, sometimes bands that kind of put out it's alright album. Even their albums that I'm like, yeah, it's alright. I still like them. So I don't think you can really go wrong with it. Unlike All That Remains, I used to really like their stuff, and then their lead singer went crazy, and then their music started stinking. Again, in my personal opinion. No, not well, not quite. Sort of, not quite though. More like he really started getting into like crazy right-wing conspiracy stuff. He was afraid like the government was gonna take over, which I've never understood since we're kind of on the subject. Why people are like afraid the government's gonna take over? Like the government already took over. It's the government. They're in control already. They're already governing us, which is why they're the government. Which means they're in control. So you don't need to take over something you already control. So, yeah, I've never understood that. Yeah, kind of. I feel like I can't. This hand is almost there. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. So what's everyone's plans this weekend? I guess question the second is who's planning on going to Dragon Con next weekend? I read I read your comment there sideways, and you wrote DC, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. You're going to Washington D.C. That's so sweet. And then I realized you meant Dragon Con. Once I read the part of the sentence where you're like deciding what stuff to carry and get signed. And I realized my mistake. Is there any particular guest you have your eyes on that you're really eager to get either just meet or get something signed by them? Yeah, George Perez, man, he's getting up there, and I know he has some medical issues too. So I know he doesn't do sketches at conventions anymore. Did you not get to see him last year? He was sitting, well, not directly across from us, but like across from us, like 2 rows. And he had some lines, but he never had a huge line. Are you gonna be? I guess I should also ask: are you gonna be hanging out at John's table for most of the con? Or are you gonna? Uh, are you just gonna be kind of a free agent wandering around? Oh, you totally missed it last year. That's gonna be me this year. I have no intention on going at all. Yeah, definitely make sure you take time to go shopping. Whenever I table at that con, I never leave. Well, that's not strictly true. I leave like 2 hours before the end of the convention. Like on Monday, I'm walking around at like 4 o'clock or whenever the con's about to end. You would think that's when you get the big discounts, but you don't. I mean, okay, let me rephrase. Unless there is something you want, you know exactly what you want, you know exactly where it is, you might big capital M might be able to negotiate with uh, the person. But it's not like the old days at cons where they would put up a big sign saying, like, you know, like 30% off today. They used to do that all the time at old cons. But now they don't advertise that. So you might be able to haggle on the last day. But even then, a lot of people, like, a lot of those vendors, their business model is to go from con to con. So they know if they don't sell it full price at Dragon Con, they can just sell it at the next con. Hey Matt, how are you? Yep, Cowboy Bebop beat Harley Quinn this year, or this month. Part of me wants to just let this be the sketch for the patrons this month. I really like the looseness of it. I think it looks nice. Thanks, Sideways. See, artists in training here. This is what the benefit of a reference will do ya. I'm working off of Robert De Niro pose here. Here. Let me bring this over so you guys can see where I'm working off of. So I'm using this as a reference for good old Spike. Thanks. Glad you guys are liking it. See, I like the energy of how I shaded in everything. But I'm not sure if I'd like it better like this, or if I'd like it better if if these were just really sharp, clean, flat blacks. That would give it a really graphic look, which I also think would look really nice. It's hard for me to decide what I want to do. So you working tonight, Pat? Or Matt? Oh man, I'm tired. How long have I been streaming? Hour and a half? Who knows how much longer I'm going to stream here. Clearly I'm tired. I can't even say the names right. See, I started putting this hand here, but I don't know if I like it there. What am I doing? When in doubt, use your own hand as a reference. There we go. That took way too long. So this is a little bit simpler than what I normally do for patron stuff. Usually I do a half body or full body. And I guess technically this is a half body. But I feel like this captures Spike's personality so quintessentially. I don't think adding anything more to the body or the surroundings really will add anything to the drawing. So I think I'm calling this, at least the pencils here, done. I'm going to add a little shape back here. I want to know your guys' opinion though. Is this too simple? Yeah, I think Matt, am gonna ink it, but it's talking more just general composition, general drawing. Because I think the more I think about it, I think having really nice flat blacks will look good with this piece. Great thing about working digitally is if after I put in the blacks, if I absolutely hate it, I can just turn the layer off and I can leave it just as this. Oops. So does anyone have any feedback before I start inking this? All right. So like I said, I think this is going to look really good being like a really graphic flat black. So I'm going to start off here. Just my lasso fill. And I'm just going to... I'm just going to mess up. That's what I'm going to do first. Helps if I have the right color selected. Friends, I'm an idiot. I don't know why you watch me. I'm an idiot. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. So you guys are so quiet in the chat. Whoops. Man, I am making so many mistakes today. I was just about to say, you guys are so quiet today. It looks so weird right now. Lots of multitasking. Studying, working. If you don't mind me asking, what are you studying? Government and calculus. Oh boy. Man, I tell you, I thought I was good at math in high school, and then I took college level calculus. I got a D- in that class. And that's when I realized I don't think I can be a science major. Thankfully, I was just a freshman, first semester. But man, couldn't hang with just calculus 1. So then I was trying to figure out what could I do if science wasn't going to work for me because of all the math that I would suck at. What could I do? And that's when I found the illustration department, and the rest is history. See, and then never, never, ever again. Thankfully, when I, even though I got D- in that course, it still counted as the credit that I needed. It wouldn't have counted if I was a math or science major, but since I transferred to art, I just needed a math credit, and D- stands for don't have to take that class again. So, but I still needed more math credits, so I took like statistics, and I was really great at the other maths, but man, calculus, for whatever reason, I just could not understand calculus. And I usually am pretty good at math. At least I thought I was. thankfully, I've gotten into the art department. And now I'm here drawing for you guys. So. Let me ask you guys, tomorrow, I'm going to stream tomorrow. Do you guys want to, these are your options for tomorrow's stream. Option 1 is we can just do something like this. We can just chat with you guys. We can draw. Yeah, just exactly what we're doing now. So that's option 1. Option 2 is do what we've done the last 2 Saturdays, and I can put on a Superman radio episode. We'll just keep going in order. We'll pick up with the story arc that starts right after Superman beats up the KKK. Third option is we can do a different radio show. I spent some time last week looking at some other radio episodes. Like there's like The Shadow, Flash Gordon. Oh man, there's a bunch of them. Flash Gordon's was kind of sound-wise. Because it was 1935, so the sound keeps kind of fading in and out. What were some of the others? Anyway, so we can do another radio show. And I guess option D is to just put on music. And I can draw to music. Like I can put on some Kill Switch Engage. Or any other type of music. And just go from there. Soups. You know, that's the one thing I like about doing the Superman one is people who might want to watch my stream but they're stuck at work or they just gotta do something else. It can be really distracting to just hear me talk when you're trying to do something else and have me on in the background. Sorry, I had to put new music on for myself. But yeah, when I put on the radio show, like if you are trying to study or you're stuck at work, or whatever else might be going on, you can still listen to a good show, even if you can't really interact with the chat or with me. Plus, I like exposing you guys to stuff that you might not normally know about. I mean, everyone knows about Superman, but not everyone knows that he had a radio show. And even those who knew there was a radio show have never heard the radio show before. So, take a little bit of joy in exposing people to cool art that they may not have been exposed to otherwise. There's a lot of Shadow. I can't remember how many there are off the top of my head. Shadow was one of those really, really popular ones. So there's quite a few episodes of The Shadow. Like ones like Blue Beetle, for instance. Blue Beetle, there was only 20 episodes. So that one wasn't very, very popular. It didn't last very long. But Superman, The Shadow, those were both wildly popular. I actually forgot to look up Dick Tracy. I'd love to listen to some Dick Tracy if I can get my hands on it. The world's not ready for Blue Beetle. For whatever it's worth, it's not even the good Blue Beetle, in my humble opinion. It's, what's his name? Garrett. His first name's escaping me. I think the Green Hornet did have a cereal. I forgot to look up the Green Hornet too. Yep, that's it. Dan Garrett. And it's the Dan Garrett with one T. If I'm remembering Blue Beetle's history right, the original Blue Beetle, the comic company is escaping me, that was Dan Garrett with one T. And then Charlton bought the rights to Blue Beetle, and they made some Dan Garrett comics, but they gave Dan Garrett two T's in his name, and he had a different origin. He wasn't a cop. I forget the origin of Dan Garrett from Charlton. And then Charlton created Ted Kord Blue Beetle, which is objectively the best Blue Beetle. Good. Just about at 2 hours. I think I'll draw for a little bit longer here. Hope you guys have been enjoying this. Ted Kord is the best. And copyright gets really funky when it comes to comics, because Ted Kord is in the public domain. But Ted Kord Blue Beetle is only the Charlton version of Ted Kord is in the public domain, which is confusing because you think, oh, he's the same person, but he's not quite the same. Like anything, like if you wanted to make a Blue Beetle comic with Ted Kord, technically you could, but you would have to be super, super careful, because if you put anything in that comic that was created, anything that's known about Ted Kord, any personality traits, any um, just anything that appears in a DC comic that didn't originate in the Charlton comics, DC can come after you. So you have to really be careful to distinguish, like, because you know how it is when we're fans of stuff, right? Like we kind of compile all the canon together. We kind of, whether it's like we're mixing comics with movie canon, like we take the parts we like and we kind of forget about the parts we don't like. So if we like some DC parts, it could be really easy to accidentally put that in your comic. So you got to be really careful if you wanted to do that. I don't necessarily recommend it. Figure if you're gonna bother making a superhero comic, just come up with your own instead of doing Blue Beetle. To Ted. Well, it's not even the name. Although you do have to be careful. You can use the name Blue Beetle in the comic, but you can't call your comic Blue Beetle because DC has a trademark on Blue Beetle. You can't trademark names. That's why for a long time Shazam was called that's why Shazam was called Captain Marvel, even after Marvel Comics got the trademark for Captain Marvel. So even though Marvel owned the trademark Captain Marvel, Shazam was still called Captain Marvel in the comics, but they couldn't call the comic Captain Marvel. It's very complicated. I actually was having a conversation on Twitter earlier that they need to change the copyright laws so that characters like Superman and Blue Beetle and Shazam and all those Golden Age and most of those Silver Age heroes would be in the public domain completely. Same thing, if the old copyright laws were still in effect, they would be. Like Mickey Mouse would be in the public domain, Superman, Batman, Jay Garrick Flash would be in the public domain, Captain America would be in the public domain. It's a special kind of hell here in America. Like in Japan, it's less of an issue. In fact, there's an entire industry around fan art or fan comics in Japan called Dojin or Dojin. Dojin for short. I forget how you pronounce the full name of it. And I don't want to embarrass myself by trying. But Dojin is pretty much just fan comics. Some of you guys might be familiar with Dragon Ball AF. That was a Dojin, but like a lot of comic artists, a lot of mangaka get their start doing Dojin. The current manga artist for Dragon Ball Super was the artist on Dragon Ball AF, which sounds really funny in today's lingo. But that abbreviation didn't mean what it meant back when it was created. Anyway. But yeah, the copyright law in Japan is less strict, which allows people to create their fan comics. and not only make them but like publish them, like send them to a printer. They go to comic conventions. And they'd sell their dojin there. Dojin. I feel like I'm still saying it wrong. Anyway. But yeah, a lot of mangaka get their start doing that. And if copyright law was super, super, super strict, like it is here in the States, no way you could do that. Although I do have to admit, with the prolific fan art that's on the internet now, it's getting harder to enforce those strict copyright laws. Which means a lot more people are getting away with it than once upon a time. Let's get his hair. Oh, that kind of actually looks cool. Oh, man. Let's get his face done here. So I've been going for about 2 hours so far. If you guys have been enjoying this, and you haven't already, why not give me a follow? We're almost at 100 followers, which I know is nothing for some Twitch people, but that's a big deal for me. If we can get to 100, I'm going to do a special stream where I take your guys' requests. I'll draw your requests live. You know, I was debating whether or not I should color this, but I am really liking this in black and white. I think I'm going to throw tone, because Spike has his jacket has that big flap here. Let me show you guys. So it has this big flap here that's lighter in color, but right now with it being stark black and white, it looks kind of weird. So I think I'm going to throw tone there, just so it's not as dark as the black jacket, but it's clear that it's not like his open shirt or whatever. But other than that, I think I'm just going to leave this straight up black and white. Thank you. I like the black and white too. I think it's really. I think it looks really sharp that way. I'm biased with black and white art anyway, so I know I have a bias, but I'm glad you guys like it too. And I would love to do the requests, but we're not going to do it until we get 100 followers, so that's just 2 more. So, what time works best for you guys? When should I start my stream? Tomorrow. It's gonna probably be at least 3 hours long. Most of those Superman story arcs are they're usually about 12 episodes at 15 minutes apiece, so that's usually about 3 hours. Last week's was 16 episodes, so that was a 4-hour stream. And I honestly I haven't looked at what this week's episode or this week's story arc is, so I don't know how many episodes long it is. So I'm definitely not going to start any later than 4. Or 4:30, I should say. Because I don't really want to go any later than 8:30. I don't know what you guys have planned. What you guys' schedules are like. So I don't want to start the stream at 4 when most of you guys are going to be around at like 2. Fourish sounds good. All right. Got 1 vote for Fourish. What about the rest of you guys? Since no one else is chiming in, I'm going to just say then tomorrow's stream is going to be around 4 o'clock then. And as usual, I'll post on social medias that I'll be when I'm about to go live. So it won't be a complete shock when I do it. It won't be completely in the dark, that is. In the penciling, I put this cross hatching here. I think I'm going to leave that out. I think that looks better with these inks. Maybe I'll do a tone. Since I'm going to put a tone in the jacket, maybe I'll just put a tone in the shirt. Excuse me. So next week, not tomorrow, but next week, I don't think I'm going to be doing any streams because of Dragon Con. Well, I say because of Dragon Con. As of right now, I'm not planning on going, but still might. Regardless if I go or not, I'm going to be having some company, so I will not be available for streaming. Unless, maybe, and this is a big maybe, capital M, neon lights, maybe, I might stream a video game next week. Buddy of mine's going to be visiting. I haven't seen him in a while. So definitely going to be spending a lot of time with him. But if he's down, we might do a video game stream. Now the only thing is, if we do a video game stream, it's not going to be like this. You're not going to see me. You're not going to see. I'm not going to be in the corner. I'm not going to have this cool, the whatever I have over here. I got like the stream boss over here and my little cup over here. That stuff isn't going to be there. It's just going to be, assuming I can get my headset to work properly. You'll hear me talking. You'll see the game I'm playing, and that's it. And maybe you might even hear my friend. If he has a mic too. Which, if he doesn't have a mic, I might not do it, because I don't think you guys want to hear a one-sided conversation. Unless you guys do, whatever. And again, that's only capital M maybe. If he's, my buddy's, interested, if he wants to be on my stream, I don't know. So if he doesn't want to do that, if he doesn't want to be on stream, then I won't be streaming next week. So unless I'm lucky and I'm able to cram like maybe a Tuesday night stream in. But definitely not Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Definitely won't be streaming those days. Wow, when I started the stream, I did not think I'd get this piece penciled in ink on stream, so that's something. That is definitely something. I think this is looking pretty good. What do you guys think? So this piece isn't completely done, but the inks are, I think. What are your guys' thoughts? Worth calling this done? Or ink's done. The whole piece isn't done yet. Alright, cool. Alright guys, so it's almost 11:30 at my time here. So I gotta call it a night. But if you guys are still gonna be hanging out on Twitch, what I'm going to do is we're gonna do a raid over to Philosophy Tube's channel. So what the reason I'm going to be sending you over to Philosophy Tube when I'm done here is he is doing a charity stream to raise money for mental health, and to raise that money he is reading aloud the entire works of William Shakespeare, and he is going to do that until he gets through all of it. So he's going to be streaming for several days. So I figure it's best to send you over now before he gets too exhausted, because he just started maybe a few hours ago. So I'm going to send you over there. Actually, I'm going to go over to his channel, see what he's up to right now. Let's see. He's currently reading Richard II. And then next he's going to read Comedy of Errors. It looks like he has some guests reading with him. So I think it's good. That's a really cool thing. So I'm going to send you guys over to him. See something neat. And maybe if you guys are feeling generous, you guys can help him raise some money for mental health. So before I do that, I want to thank everyone for coming and watching. I had a great time tonight. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad it looks like it pops. So thank you everyone. I really had a good time tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow around 4:30 Eastern time. We're gonna do some Superman and comics drawing, because I only have like one more panel to tone, so then I gotta start drawing some new pages so I can tone those. So that's gonna be tomorrow. Follow me if you haven't. Do all the things, Patreon things, do all the things. Yeah. Alright, guys. So I want to thank you again. This is your last chance to throw anything in the chat that you want to talk about or ask me a question of before we go raid Philosophy Tube and maybe you guys can go help him out, raise some money for mental health. So, alright guys, you're awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, a great Friday night. We're waiting for the raid to get ready here. Alright guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.